And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Keepers Club podcast. This podcast is hosted by Keepers Club, a club that aims to keep young people like us away from negative activities such as smoking, drinking, doing drugs, and to really help guide and uplift young adults like us who are tuning in, especially those who might be going through depression, loneliness, anxiety, and eventually suicidal thoughts. And we have the privilege to have keepers that are willing to join this week's recording, episode 14, to share their experiences on how to stay healthy, happy, and motivated. Because at the end of the day, that's really the goal of Keepers Club, to really share with others and to really share as if we are all brothers and sisters. So let me welcome these people also joining in. And And just like the club slogan, once again, I am my brother's keeper. We will do whatever it takes to share the love that we experience individually and collectively. And we love to also thank the founding president, who is none other than Apollo Kibaloy, for this opportunity to be a part of the Keepers Club podcast. So without further ado, let us introduce and greet one another in this podcast episode today. How's everyone there? Can you wave to one another? How's everyone? Welcome to the podcast. How are you there, keepers in all over the US? And how's everyone today, by the way? How are you doing, Tone, Keeper Isaac, Keeper Kate? Did you guys do anything? Is everyone having a great day? Anyone want to share anything they've done recently? Anything exciting? Right off the bat? Um, it was good, Kuya. All right, so we hope everyone's day is going well. Does anyone want to share really quick, or anyone excited for anything upcoming? Goalkeeper Isaac have an amazing day, and oh, this is like actually one of the icebreakers too. But to start off, to all the podcast keepers that have joined, we hope your day is going well, and especially also to the keepers tuning into this episode on YouTube. So we thank you for joining. We thank you for tuning in, and love from the Keepers Club podcast. So let's get started with our presentation. Right, but in the if you guys have your videos on, how's your day, by the way, Keeper Tone?
It was pretty good. Um, I was cutting out for players today because because yesterday I recently became the captain of the volleyball team in my school, and we're forming a team. And I was cutting out for people today, and I see some potential in other people, so it was pretty great.
And yeah, thank you for sharing, Tone. All right, so hope we can all share more, but let's get started with our once again our slides. So again, this is Keepers Club Podcast episode 14. So let's full screen this too. And as an introduction, we are Keepers Club Podcast, and we are a podcast once again to help guide, encourage, and uplift the youth. And we do this through Zoom, YouTube, Facebook. We, of course, we meet on Zoom, even though we're not together physically. That we can, just gather virtually, right? And we upload our full episodes on YouTube. We take group photos on Facebook, and we do this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. California time. The reason we do this is I am my brother's keeper, right? So we truly felt a love, a bonding, a brotherhood through this Keepers Club, through Keepers Club. And, the meaning behind I am my brother's keeper, we really treat one another once again, just like you were to treat your own sibling, to share the love, to protect them, to share your experiences with them, right? And the way that we can do this to the best of our ability through this podcast is to gather, bond, and share with keepers all over the U.S. And even though that this is we are doing this only in the U.S., there are Keepers Club actually all over the world. So what a privilege to have this podcast and even to share our experience once again. So you can say that our experience is very humbling, memorable for all. We and essentially always talk about the struggles of being a youth, right? So, in the meantime, can we ask any other keepers? I know it would sound a lot nicer to hear some of the other keepers maybe share a little of their experience so far. And this Keepers Club episode 14, how the podcast is treating you, why you think why you like or dislike the podcast. So, would anyone like to share really quick? How about you, Keeper Anthony or Keeper Isaac? It would really sound nice.
Um, the podcast has been good. I really had a fun during the icebreakers, and I learned a lot during the podcast.
Goalkeeper Isaac. And one of our, what a joy to see one of the, even though you're so young, Keeper Isaac, you truly are. Um, it's so nice having, young keepers, regardless of the age, right? We have, so thank you for sharing. And anyone else, by the way? All right. Okay, once again, thank you, Keeper Isaac. I know it sounds a lot better coming from a second voice, but okay. So, you know, as tradition, we always have icebreakers before we officially begin with our discussion, right? So, these will work also if we are able to share our video. So we not only do this to, to kind of get the atmosphere of the keepers that have joined, but also to, get a little more comfy before we all discuss, share ideas, and share our thoughts for this podcast episode, right? So, we'll do where in the world, nice flex, and share your thoughts. But once again, the more the merrier. Kindly share your videos, especially the returning keepers. So I'll stop sharing the video or the presentation. But first one being is where in the world. So it's as simple as this. Where in the world is we'll just point, right? So while I share the audio, as well, um, I'll just say a keeper, or anyone can say a keeper, and then essentially we can just point to them, right? So, for example, we'll do like this: Where in the world is Keeper Kate?
I'm in
Right,
Delano,
point according to
California.
yours. Go, Kate. But in my screen, Kate, you're like right next to me, right here, right? But how about like Keeper Daniel? Where's Keeper Daniel in your guys' screen?
Um, I'm from New Hampshire.
Oh,
Hi Daniel.
go Keeper
Hi, I'm
Daniel.
actually new.
Wow, nice
Yeah,
to see your
I
face.
heard. Oi,
Yeah,
yeah, my bad. We haven't done this icebreaker in a while, but more importantly, how are you there, Daniel? Welcome to the podcast.
thank you. I'm doing great,
Doing great.
actually.
Kindly show some love to all the keepers in this episode, and also thank you for joining. How are you there, Daniel?
I'm doing great. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, everyone, kindly wave. Go, Daniel. Ooh, go New Hampshire. All right, and yeah, so we hope you enjoy as much as we do, and love also from all the keepers here in the Keepers Club podcast. Love from Keepers Club here in Chicago, and we welcome not only you but all of us to partake in the discussion today, right? So, but let's continue. For example, where in the world is Keeper Isaac? So on my screen, right, Keeper Isaac is right here, but for you guys, it might be like up, side,
I'm
down.
in Philadelphia, Texas. Where is
There you go. It's okay. This is for privacy reasons too. But goalkeeper Isaac from the galaxy. So we'll move on. And thank you for sharing, Keeper Daniel, Keeper Isaac. How are you also, Keeper Jake? Go, Keeper Jake. All right. So, let us know if you have any other icebreakers in mind. Maybe that didn't work as well, but how about this one? This one is called Share Your Thoughts. Right. So this one involves not the video this time, but the chat box. So we'll do it like this. I'll type it and then feel free to finish it. So we'll share everyone's answers and then we'll also greet the keepers tuning in globally, right? So it's gonna be like this. I'll type in something I am looking forward to is right. So feel free to uh type away in the meantime, right? And especially not only is this a platform to really share with one another, but you know you ever feel like you don't have someone to share with, like I'm really looking forward to something, or I got to do this but I don't really have anyone to tell, right? Or I got the little things that you'd like to just really share, so truly, once again, Keepers Club podcast, and we truly treat one another as not only a friends but our brothers and sisters. So go Keeper Sherlin, right? What is this? You learn how to drive? Go Keeper Sherlin or Shenelin, or learning how to drive. Go Keeper Isaac, looking forward to seeing mommy after 2 months. Whoa. Go Mama Isaac. And also, once again, greetings to the returning keepers. So nice seeing everyone, especially also Keeper Alizette, Keeper Natalie. And yeah, go Keeper Alizette, Keeper Natalie. Feel free to also greet everyone in the chat. Returning keepers, say hi to all of them. And even if we don't know, we haven't heard you or seen you, we're really grateful. It's such a privilege for you to join us. So go Keeper Alizette and Natalie. And speaking of go also Keeper Vince from Las Vegas, Keeper Anthony from Keeper Anthony training new volleyball players, and also Keeper Jello looking forward to going to Las Vegas with Keeper Vince. Wow. All right. How about this one? This one, right? Because this is not only US. So how about something I hope keepers from all over the world are hoping something positive, right? But speaking of, for the keepers tuning in, we also hope that not only your day is going well, but we hope you've been healthy, you've been happy, and that you got to make someone's day, you got to make someone smile, you got to make someone else laugh, right? And if anything, we greet you and we welcome you to the podcast, not only to invite you, but to really send our regards, right, from the Keepers Club here in the US. And we also wish you, just like Keeper Isaiah is saying, looking forward to getting more active and trying doing something with your phone, right? And go Keeper Alizette. Something to look forward to is taking your dog to the park on Saturday. So go regards to your dog, also Keeper Alizette. Hope you're safe. Hope it's not too cold. Hope you guys don't get hurt. Right? And probably a last one. How about this? This one kind of relates to our topic. So it's kind of like a sneak peek, I guess. Um, what was it? Something I think about to overcome life's obstacles are, my apologies for the grammar mistakes, but um, you know, thank you for tuning in once again. And we are looking forward to not only our discussion, but also our other icebreakers. And not only are we able to share with one another, we're also able to share maybe even our thoughts, maybe even to share our day, and to even share our talents, right? Because there's truly a lot of talents in the world. So we have this opportunity also to share it. But other than that, goalkeeper Mark, keeper Mac Mac. Something I look forward to is joining men's or intramural volleyball in college. And happy belated birthday, by the way, keeper Mac.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go all the keepers playing volleyball. And feel free also to reach out to your keepers club there in your respective states, and maybe they have a volleyball team. They have JV players as well. So that's really also not only virtually, but feel free to reach out to your guys' keepers club. I know we do a lot of in-person gatherings. We do music jam sessions. We hang out. We go downtown or we go to essentially just bonding, right? Like brothers and sisters. So but thank you too for answering the icebreaker also, keeper tone. And to really overcome life's obstacles is to really leave high school and finally pursue my dreams. Wow. Right. Go also Daniel for football. But go Daniel from the football team, football game. And thank you also, keeper tone, because that's it's actually like a deep topic we'll talk about too, depending on what we're willing to share.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, go Daniel. All right, so enough of this icebreaker, and let's move on to nice flex. So this one is also like one of our favorites, but it's simple as like, it's as simple. Well, it's like this, right? Nice flex, right? So it's gonna be like, everyone, show your phone. So this is like a warm up, right? Good. All right. How about this one? Everyone show your stuffed animal. If you guys have one? No? Anyone?
No, I don't have one.
All right. How about show your snack? Anyone else got go keeper, go Kate. Oh my gosh. Hey. Nice one, keeper Isaac. And be safe too, keeper Kate. All right, and how about show us your instrument? You guys have one? Any instrument? Singing the instrument too. So feel free to show your vocal cords or any other instrument you guys have a passion for, right? Go Jello. All right. Oh, Ton, we have the same Uki. Alrighty. So anyone else want to show anything? Anything. That last one too. Share anything you like, show and tell. Right? All right, right. We really just try to goalkeeper Tone and your pet goalkeeper Kate. Yeah, wow. It's like you're used to this, keeper Kate. All right, and how about this one? Share your thoughts. All right, let's move on actually. This one is show us your talents, right? So, of course, it's not only a podcast, but sometimes people don't have a platform to perform, right? And as keepers, we're always looking for keepers that are talented. It's not always about singing, dancing, playing an instrument, but whether you have a gift for solving Rubik's cubes, you have a gift for mental math, you have a gift for comedy or poetry. This is an opportunity we have, a very nice privilege we have to really share and to see all the God-given gifts that the keepers have all over the US, you can say, right? So would anyone like to perform before we officially move on to our Keepers Club 14 podcast discussion? So any takers, any volunteers, would you like to perform? Ton? Yeah, go Keeper Ton. All right, let's give the floor to Keeper Anthony, and
If
let's
no one's
properly.
gonna perform,
Ah,
anyone else is gonna perform?
Ako,
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Okay.
you wanna go first though?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Go Keeper Ton.
Wait. Hold on.
And before he performs, also, of course, we welcome everyone to perform, especially the new faces, right? So, without further ado, give it up for keeper Anthony. Go, Tom.
I'm singing in Spanish, but it's not like a bad song. Can I still sing it in Spanish though? Because the song is Spanish.
Are you asking me, Ton?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, my answer is goalkeeper Anthony. Follow your heart. Let's give it up for Ton. Woo! Go, Ton.
Okay. Sé que a tus ojos con solo mirar que estás pensando de andar y de andar y caminar, llenando siempre un lugar. Sé que las ventanas se pueden abrir, que aún ya dando depende de ti, te ayudará, baby, la peña un vez más, saber que se puede, querer que se pueda, quitarse los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, pintar al futuro con el corazón. Oh, oh,
For keeper Anthony.
Wow. Thanks, Father.
Ton, always performing every week. Wow, no Ton. All right. Right? See, it's a nice change, right? Having people like share, perform, sharing their gifts, singing even. So, how about anyone else? Would you like to perform? Who's next, by the way? All right. Ideally, ideally like it's like you guys, right? Because it's like it's Keeper's podcast, right? And then if anything, I'm only performing like I want to perform like to like if the host can't even perform, how can we expect other keepers to perform, right? So, but ideally, once again, a lot of people can really perform, share their gifts. But other than that, I'll I, gu- I guess I'll perform. Hope that's all right. Give me like you gotta know. Can you hear me, by the way? Just. Oh, actually. Okay. Any takers? No? No bad. Yeah. All right, go keepers. I've been wasting my time. I've been losing my mind. I've been running races, still don't know what I've been chasing. But my eyes still can't see blue skies that wait for me, and I'm on my way. Time for me to fly. Time for me to soar. Time for me to open up my heart and knock on heaven's door. Time for me to live. It's time for me to sing. Time for me to lay down all my worries and I'll spread my wings. Time for me to fly. So once again, let's give it up for Keeper Anthony. Woo! Go Keeper Con! And of course, all the keepers, especially the returning keepers, to perform next week. So thank you for sharing your gifts once again, and let's move on with our discussion. Right, so I still hope you enjoyed that. And before we officially start, this is our disclaimer, of course. So right, everything that we say, just keep in mind that this is rated everyone, right? So everything, once again, we share, kindly make sure, double check that it's pleasing to the ear and avoid cursing, sharing anything traumatic, sharing anything that goes against our slogan, I am my brother's keeper. So thumbs up. Thumbs up, everyone good? Right? All right, much love. And, especially for a topic like this, it is diagnosing life's problems. So, right, diagnosing, like something you would hear in like what a doctor would do, right? Like, their diseases, but essentially any life problems, right? And we overall talk about the struggles of being a youth. So we know that there's young people like us, young adults, that really have, no matter what the problem is, sometimes we have troubles identifying it, and really reflecting on it, really come to, really acknowledging it, or even coming to acceptance that it really is a problem, right? But we are here because it's a nice topic, right? So moving on to our definitions, one that we want to identify to have us essentially a foundation for all of our episodes is acknowledge, right? So acknowledge means to make known that something has been noticed or to admit the existence of. And another thing we like to another definition like to acknowledge is acceptance. So acceptance is a person's asset to the reality of a situation or recognizing something without attempting to change it, right? So also hello there. Another keeper just joined. Keeper Francesca. Kindly kindly um kindly correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but welcome Keeper Francesca. Right, and kindly everyone wave. I also, especially if you're a newcomer, so go Keeper Francesca. Greetings from the Keepers Club podcast.
Hi, Keeper Francesca. I think Keeper
Hello.
Cabrera is also new, I think.
I'm sorry. I'm
Uh-huh.
new to this.
Yeah, no,
Welcome.
go Keeper Francesca. Welcome to the Keepers Club podcast. We actually started, but we welcome you. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh yeah, after Sheila just reminded me again, so I kind of joined late. And I just got home. I was kind of busy. Sorry.
No, all good, all good. Yeah, everyone kindly greet her. Hi, Keeper. How's your day, by the way? Keeper Francesca, welcome. Your day's going well?
Yeah, it's doing. It's okay.
All right. So yeah, we're here's Ate Sheila also. She just joined, but we're glad you're safe, and we're very happy or grateful that you're able to join us. So welcome to the podcast once again. Love also from all the Keepers Club here in the USA, and we hope that you enjoy. Feel free to 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 be yourself, to share your thoughts, and we're actually jumping into our discussion. So also regards to Ate Sheila, like you said, here Francesca. So hi also Ate Sheila.
Hi, Cubs. Good afternoon.
Hi,
Hello.
hi po.
Jessica's
Then
here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
yeah, go keep it Francesca. So we're glad to hear your voice, and then feel free to chat box or to share your video, but uh feel comfy. If anything, we're just very happy that you're able to join us, right? So actually we're talking about diagnosing life problems.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so in this podcast, we talk about So in this podcast, we talk about like things that we don't normally talk about in school, for example, right? And essentially, we talk about the struggles of being youth, and right. So we were talking about defining some some key terms in this discussion, like to acknowledge, to make known that something has been noticed, right? Or acceptance, a person's asset to the reality of a situation. And we wanted to also list some common problems that many people have, whether you're in elementary school, whether you're in middle school, whether you're in high school or college, or you've already found your life calling. Some common life problems, for example, right? That many of us face, whether it be it could be school, it could be family, friendship, it could be relationships, it could be in your work, your career, and sometimes even, sometimes about boredom. What about feeling emptiness? What about desiring for an inner peace, you can say, right? So these are just some common life problems that we found. And feel free to jot them down, especially, if you're going to share or at least share some problems that you think keepers have all over the US, all over the world, actually, right? Um,
Excuse me, Cal. Can you talk for a while?
which one, Paul?
Excuse me, because Sean is asking for the password and the code.
Oh, yes, Paul. It's also future
Hindi na
reference. I believe it's Chicago, Paul. All caps.
Chicago only?
Yes, Paul.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Paul. Okay. Sorry about that. But right, we're talking about not only acknowledging some definitions, some life problems, but also understanding life problems. Right. So can we see all of your faces really quick? Let me share some audio too, so it kind of has a nice ring to it. But all right. Right. So everyone has problems in life. We talked about this also in some past episodes that, no matter how someone might seem, no matter how someone might seem happy, how happy they look, how successful they might be, no matter what they seem, what life has going for them, everyone has problems, right? And think about it. A lot of us, when we have problems, we try to have like a quick solution to it. But the thing is, many of us are also guilty of like procrastinating or just, delaying all of our problems. And overall, these problems can really rack up and cause a great stress and anxiety that are required different strategies, right? So you like these pictures, by the way? So we can go back to them and anything else also in the slides. But some steps we wanted to identify also, right? A lot easier said than done, right? But some things that we saw that we wanted to really narrow down to 5 steps is, if you think about it, identify the problem. The first step in, really solving a problem is acknowledging that there is a problem. Step 2, generate potential solutions. Just brainstorming stage. Like, how can I get this solved? Do I want to solve? Right? Also, to implement the solution, to choose one solution. Right? There could be many. Step 4, implement this. It's more of like really executing it. Really, a lot easier said than done. Really walking the walk. And step 5, evaluate the results. So, right? Just like the podcast, it's really all about self-reflection. So this is also the Eisenhower decision matrix. Actually, Akuya shared this to me when I've been procrastinating too much, right? But feel free to message me also if you want me to share these photos with you, of course. But let's go to our official question for episode 13. And it is, what problems do young people struggle with in this generation? And why is it so important? Why is it so important for keepers to acknowledge their priorities in life? And how can keepers around the world strive to be excellent in time management and completing their goals? So I will copy and paste this in the chat box. But it's a very complex question, right? And essentially we're really talking about just really reflecting, really identifying the problems that we might have and really working together to brainstorm how we can solve them, right? Or really having this platform to share. Feel free to share whatever you want, whether it being something really deep or something, something as like simple as like, I've been procrastinating on homework, right? But For our discussion time, just keep in note there are no wrong answers. Feel free to elaborate on one another's answers, and direct the conversation toward a specific topic. And participation is highly encouraged, right? So this is not any class, this is a podcast. So feel free to have fun, to share your thoughts, your comfy. With that being said, well, I typed the question in the chat box. Who would like to, set the standard for the discussion, or to really be one of the first to really share their thoughts? Yes, of course. So here's the question, and once again, it really is complex, but this question was not only motivated by past episodes. For example, like when we identified um the good and evil of the internet, for example, we not only we identified it, but we want to also have an episode like this to really acknowledge, how to go about with the problems of the internet, or the problems in life, or the problems with the relationships, right? So feel free to chat away, and I'm willing to share, of course, but Goalkeepers podcast. And who would like to uh jump in?
Can I say something? I
Yeah,
just
go,
want
Ton.
because I see it so often in my school. And the question that I want to answer is, what problems do young people struggle with in this generation? And I really think peer pressure, it can be interpreted in many ways, and in ways like, you do something foolish or quote unquote funny, or for entertainment purposes. Like in my school, there isn't really anything going on, like, like you can call it drama, because we're a pretty chill school, because it's a small school, and also it's not like a regular high school. But if you were to go into, like, a high school where there's thousands of students in each grade level, peer pressure will really be one thing that everybody will struggle the most. And even in such a small school such as mine's, peer pressure, um, doing something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you're gonna do it because your friends are, hey, do it, it's gonna be so funny, something like that. Just, you guys can be entertained at the time, because that's pretty much what kids are trying to do these days, because um, maybe they're tired of, being on their phones all day, or they don't have anything to do, or they're just bored, so they want to entertain themselves in school. So they do something foolish and quote it as fun. So that's one of the problems that young people in this generation struggle. And also, seeing other people kind of like, it's breaking the rules, because they're not supposed to be doing it in school. But being peer pressured to kind of like, uh, vape or something like that in school, it's, you see other students do it. I can see it sometimes, and even those who are younger than me are part of the, exchanging of vape, and I can see it happening in the restroom, and even in the hallway. I see people like, they don't look normal, like their face are like so, I mean, it's also your freedom of choice as well, as young people. Like, you know what's right and wrong, especially in your school. And since everybody is trying to be like slick about it, or just like see it as normal or deem it as normal, then you're prone to doing it too. That's one of the problems that the young people in this generation struggle with. And that's why, for the second one, it's important for keepers to acknowledge their priorities in life, because you never really know, for certain what your actions, what consequences your actions will have. Like, yeah, you might do it for fun because they're peer pressuring you into doing it, but if it turns into something like, how in a dominoes, you, like, not the domino of the game where people like line up some things that can stand and then they push it. Like, it's all the domino effect. You know, if you did something foolish to make your friends fun, like laugh or have fun or whatever, that can possibly turn into, you know, something else, like um you accidentally hit someone, and then that someone will get mad, and then things get heated up and you get in a fight, and then you get suspended. It's just things like that that is, you know, I can imagine being part of the domino effect. So in connection to the first one, peer pressure can do some short term and especially long term consequences that, you know, you might regret sometimes. So as a young people, like me, as someone who's, you know, in my last year in high school, and I feel like I kind of saw a lot of things going on in my school that, you know, you might call me as like boring, but at least, you know, I'm not being persuaded into doing things that I don't want to do just so people can laugh with me. Or, you know, at times it can look like they're laughing with you, but you never really know if they're laughing at you. So, you know, that's just one of the problems. There's certainly a lot more, but I want some other keepers to be able to share their thoughts, if, you know, if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for these discussions.
Thank you, Keeper Ton. And yeah, thank you for, you know, not only sharing but being the first one also to jump into the to, you know, jumpstart the discussion. And just like Keeper Anthony was saying, we love to hear the other keepers share anything on your mind, anything that really, you know, resonated with you from the PowerPoint. You know, if you learned something you want to share or you want to elaborate to, you know, what a previous keeper had said. Um, but you know, we this is a podcast. We like to share our thoughts, share our discussion, right? So would anyone else like to jump in?
And I do want to say about what Keeper Anthony mentioned about the domino effect. You know, a lot of the times it starts out very small. Like, for example, addiction. It starts out with a small thing, but then all of a sudden you think, oh, it's only small. I can keep going. I can stop anytime. I can keep going. I can stop anytime. And then all of a sudden you're at the point where you can't stop. So, you know, a lot of the times making like a one-off dumb decision isn't going to ruin your life forever. More likely than not, it's not going to ruin your life. Making like one small this dumb decision. What matters is, you know, are you going to keep making that dumb decision? And your brain is physically against you because literally the part of your brain that's responsible for impulse control isn't fully developed until you're like 25. So a lot of the time, if you're like out with a group of friends, you know, and the like quote unquote like the joke is the brain cell of the group isn't there. The mom friend that makes sure you don't like die or something while you're outside isn't there. Always just like it's a very good idea to just sort of take a minute and like think like, is this really good idea? Trust your gut more than anything, honestly. Because I feel like that's a problem I see with a lot of young people, especially women. They don't trust their gut a lot. They don't like trust their instinct. And you know, the topic of peer pressure and stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's very easy to go with the flow of the crowd, but remember, you're most of us here are teenagers. But yeah, teenagers don't know what they're doing a lot of the time. I know because I am one. So just think teenagers don't know what they're doing a lot of times, and a lot of the times more dumbs don't make a right. A lot of dumb doesn't make smart. So just I remember when I was young, I remember I never took time to just think to myself or like take time to think, is this really a good idea or not? But you know, looking back now, I really wish I trusted my gut more, because any regrets I might have anytime I look back or cringe and stuff like that, it's always times I didn't trust my gut or I didn't trust my instinct. Like, you know, a friend or like a peer has this stupid idea, and then, you know, I don't trust myself to be like, oh no. Like, once you start to think, oh, it's okay because everyone else is doing it, that's a very slippery slope to get on, especially when you're all so young and you don't have that much life experience yet. You know, I hindsight is a great thing, but also a very like sort of like face palm kind of thing. It makes you want to face palm because you think, why did I not think of that back then? But, you know, just learn how to trust your gut more, honestly, because, you know, it's there for a reason. Like, if you have a bad feeling about something, more likely than not, it's not going to be good for you and stuff like that. And, you know, also, I remember as a kid, when I was younger, I wouldn't listen to my parents as much. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a good relationship with my parents, but like, just learn how to put aside your pride for a little bit. Whenever your parents give you a warning, whenever they're like, I don't trust your group of friends, or I don't trust this certain friend, especially if, you know, it's the parent you trust and you see they've like built a good life for themselves, they've, you know, done the best they can to be your parents, more likely than not they're right. So anytime you don't listen to them, you know, especially as a teenager, as a kid, it's a matter of pride. So just know when to put aside your pride and know when to stand your ground. I think that's a very prevalent problem for young people today, knowing that sort of balance. You know, stand your ground against things you really don't think is right, and then, you know, put aside your pride when it comes to your role models, the people you're supposed to look up to, you know, authority figures, stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you, Keeper Jane. No, that was awesome. So thank you for sharing. And you know, if I may add just a little, right? I know both keepers, they're mentioning like school, right? So I also know that this podcast, we really wanted to take the initiative to, you know, to have this podcast, especially while young people like us are going back to school, you know, for the fall semester, right? And one things we included, and I even heard someone mention like the pressure, you know, the pressure of fitting in, the pressure of, you know, having friends, or the pressure of, you know, even the pressure of like doing good in school, the pressure of, you know, all the relationships, you know, that are really praise like from your friends or from your surroundings, right? So that's why, well, we have this privilege, this opportunity to have this podcast. Everyone here, you could have been doing anything you wanted, but you chose to join this podcast. You know, whether you're able to share your video, or you're, you know, at the same time you're listening in while driving. So we like to open the discussion and maybe direct it specifically towards something like school, like the peer pressure of school, or, you know, for the, you know, a lot of like the younger keepers here, would you like to share, you know, some problems that you've experienced through school, or that you've noticed that are like have arisen while you're so busy in, you know, exams, tests, quizzes, relationships, things like that? So would anyone else like to share next? go go by the way, Daniel, 17 junior. But would you like to share, by the way, Daniel, or anyone, any like, you know, especially new faces, returning faces? Would you like to add on?
Okay, can I add on?
Of course, go Kate.
Well, I feel like a problem like the youth generation has is like being too trusted with their devices. Like, I don't really know how to say it all that well, but especially with like tablet kids now. And I've also seen it with my classmates a lot. Like, I see it, like when me and my classmates are waiting for like my teacher, like our fifth period teacher, like they're always, at least 5 of them are on their phones a lot. And I think it could also contribute to like them like struggling with religious life, like them going through the fire, because technology also symbolizes because like technology symbolizes the fruit that holds good and evil, like all the knowledge of good and evil, and that's all I can really say, Kuya.
Wow. Regards to you, Kate, and also your fan, right? Like your ceiling fan. But go Kate. I'm almost like in awe, you know, because, you know, you mentioned the previous episode, you know, talking about like the struggles of like the internet, right? And, you know, what about acknowledging like the problems that that students have. You're saying, we're always on our phone. Maybe we're, what the problem of being like bored in school or not respecting the teacher. What about the problems of a teacher not feeling respected and like how they're trying to do their job, where they have a calling to be a teacher, but no one wants to, respect them, right? So any other takes, regarding like the problems within school, or how about technology, or how about you know how about in being productive, or really finding, something deep, like your calling in life? Because, a lot of times technology, it can take away from our time, our focus, our goal, right? So how about anyone else? Thank you, by the way, Keeper Kate.
Can I try to say something?
Yes, of course, please do.
Okay, so I think for the question that says, what problems do young people struggle with in this generation? And I think that one of the thing is social skills, like talking to people or like kids in their age, because many like I know that many kids, like, especially once you get to high school or like school in general, um, we try to make friends because we don't want to be lonely, and um, like meeting new people is kind of hard, because like you don't know them, and just trying to talk to them is hard. And sometimes when we try to talk like in person, you we get the shyness, because we don't have the courage enough to talk to them. And and sometimes like I had that experience, like when I started high school, it was like a new school for me, and I didn't know anyone. So it took me a while to be able to get out of my comfort zone and start talking to people. And I think it took me about like a month just to make like a couple friends, because I was like scared, because sometimes um you're just scared. But like since that's also like really something that I noticed in my school, because sometimes I just see kids like two people together, and basically that's it. And okay, so like, and for why is it important for keepers to acknowledge their priorities in life? I think that it's important because our priorities will like guide life decisions, and keep like on track. And most of our like priorities will give us like the confidence to be able to say no, and like it will be able to help us identify what we need in life and stuff like that. And yeah.
Thank you, Keeper Jello. And regards to you, thank you for sharing, once again. And, even talking about, things that you've noticed in school, right? So, how about anyone else? Anyone else regarding how about, um, I'll be happy to volunteer you also, especially the returning keepers. So, would anyone else like to share or jump in or talk about, anything, you know, maybe identifying like a problem that you didn't realize in your own life, right? Or what you believe, like the question, why do you think keepers should really acknowledge and come to acceptance of their problems in life, and like how can they solve it, right? Going for anything, or any kind of problem, big or small, right? So how about Keeper Josh, Keeper Sean, Keeper Jessa, Keeper Vince, Keeper Sherilyn Bernard, right?
I think Daniel wants to say something.
Oh, who kuya? Daniel?
Daniel.
Yeah, go Daniel. Is there a Keeper Daniel?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, go Keeper. Would you like to share? Feel free to jump into the discussion.
Okay, I'll try.
Go Daniel. Woo!
I mean, in this generation, the young people facing off, it's like they get more anxiety and depression than it was before. Because instead of being, they're gonna do more socializing to other people, make friends. Like they're just using their phones, like on their phone. Because I was being depressed before, like it was my last year, and hopefully I was like I have no friends at all. Like I was gained a lot of weight, and luckily I changed my style when I got sick, and I start reading some little bit Bible stuff like on about keepers, and I get back because there's some members like in the Philippines do reach me out. I would say thank you for them who's reaching me out, but um yeah, so I was just probably gonna say just be more socialized instead of being alone. If you have any problem, like talk to someone that you can talk with. Just like I can't say or not. I'm speechless to those people who say it first time. Like they already say all the good things that I'm supposed to say. I mean, yeah, I faced the hard way before last year, and now I change it. I think that's all.
Yeah, no,
Okay, especially
goalkeeper Daniel. Wow. Goalkeeper Daniel, changing your ways and being like being honest and being like going to share about you, right? To the here in the podcast, especially as the first like one of the first times, right?
yeah, it's
So
my first time today. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
goalkeeper
it.
Daniel from New Hampshire, right? Love from
Yeah.
Keepers Club Chicago, and I can't help but like really jump in too. And also like for me, um just to, like short and sweet, but like I didn't know I was like lost. You can say I didn't know that I like didn't have a purpose in life. Even though I found that I was making like my own artificial purpose in life, like just to be a good person, just be nice to people, make a like have a what's it called, like touch the lives of many people. Like I didn't realize that I didn't have like a divine peace or like a divine like calling that I was really really striving for, right? And I'm sure other keepers here can really uh share about that too, right? But I know here also like for keepers in I know for my journey in keepers, like I was curious. I was like, who are these people? They're so nice. They're letting me play piano with them, sing with them, and they're like treating me as my own brother, a little brother or sister. Right? So I couldn't help but like be curious of the keepers club, right? So I think that even though we're not together like personally once again, we're able to share and goalkeeper Daniel, really being like vulnerable to all of us here once again, you can say. So, thank you for sharing. And with that being said, would anyone else like to share their journey as a keeper, or really, maybe you could talk about, what you found your purpose in life, maybe, or like why you found the liking to Keepers Club and how they helped you, right? Because right, Keepers Club, they found the problem within the young people today. A lot of us, a lot of young people today are just doing word like a lot of like vices, like on our intro, smoking, drinking. Some of us, without us knowing, we're depressed. We don't have motivation to wake up, right? So anyone, we love for you to share your Keepers Club journey and how you think Keepers Club solve a problem within the youth today, and why you believe there's Keepers Club International, or why do you think we have this podcast, for example. So would anyone else like to share? Especially if you haven't shared yet. But anyone like to add on to Keeper Daniel, or share their how Keepers Club reached out to you?
Keeper Isaiah.
Isaiah? Is it Isaiah? Goalkeeper Isaiah! Woo!
Can I share something too?
Yeah. Go Paul.
All right. Okay. Before knowing the Keepers Club International back in 2013, I used to also be like a regular student in school. I'm kind of bully in school as well, and just like living a normal, like just like most of the young people nowadays. But nowadays it's just like more into like social media, and then you can sometimes, as I have noticed and as I've observed, that the young people nowadays are like trying to like really into like social media nowadays, and it's kind of hard for them to like sometimes like talk to them, because that's where their comfort is, as I can see. And I see those young people as well are very into like social media. They're very, and you can not talk to them like easily and immediately, like to connect to them as like as usual, because they're into really into social media, and like especially Facebook, Instagram, and all those stuff that young people are not supposed to like. I mean, it's good thing that we have social media nowadays to connect immediately to young people, but as you can see, there's a lot of young people in some cases that they are not connected into like real world anymore. They were like not sociable, or not be able to like not know, like doesn't have any like talents, but just like watching videos and everything with, but knowing the fact that they don't, that like social media doesn't have like your physical, especially your physical and your mental health for you, especially when you were just not into social media. You're not really into like um those kind of stuff if you're not really good at it. But if you're just going the wrong way, you might just end up being like into bad influence into social media if you don't know how to manage yourself like that. As I can see, because most of my classes back when I was in high school, that's what I have observed as well. And especially that's what I'm saying is it will, when you come into addiction, especially in social media, you will end up being depressed or into like anxiety or doing that kind of stuff, because you don't have anybody to connect with, especially in physical world or in like that kind of stuff. So Keepers Club International is actually one of the things that helps me out to like learn a lot of talents. It gives me more like talents like singing or dancing and playing instruments. That why actually the Keepers Club International helps me out. That's how they help me out. And the Keepers Club International is actually one of the best way for the young people nowadays. For me, I think that it's a good way for other young people to know about the Keepers Club International, because Keepers is like teaching you in good stuff, in being sociable, in connecting to the world for a better way, or like in how you like, how do you say that, it's Keepers Club International is like how you are going to like to connect with people in social, and especially in your school, how you deal with other classmates, especially when you were the ones like enlightening yourself, you have the knowledge of how to deal with, especially with those bully classmates, those bad influence in school, like vaping. That's very normal here in America. That's why I can say that um, Keepers Club is teaching you on how to avoid the stuff and how to overcome this kind of way, even though you are at the point of temptation, especially when some of your classmates, probably in your school, might like convince you to do vape or do this kind of stuff that you're not supposed to, and you know that it's wrong, and that those kind of temptation from your classmate. And that's why Keepers is teaching you on how to avoid this kind of stuff, on how to overcome this kind of stuff, and how to like deal with those, especially in classmates and other people in the outside world who are trying to lure or like tempt you or deceive you, or this kind of bad stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what the Keepers Club International means. And that's what I've learned from it. Actually, there's a lot more knowing the Keepers Club for how many years, and that's why I encourage most of the other young people here who are in here who are participating in this podcast. I mean, it's just don't take it for granted. Is everything that everybody else sharing it right now is something that you can learn from it and something you can benefit into yourself of, like, like just be yourself of how to deal into the outside world and how to be a good by yourself. You know what I mean? So that's all I can share for now, because I think there's a lot more people, young people wants to share their experiences, and you know, yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Calvin,
Keeper Atrio.
back.
Go ahead.
Wow,
Well,
you're a
and
3-0.
yeah, wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And for the keepers that might be like, why are we all talking about Keepers Club International all of a sudden rather than a topic? Like, no, the like Keepers Club, like we were saying, Keepers Club International saw a problem within the youth, right? So it really is our duty and like the bare minimum that we can ever do to give back to Keepers Club, to really share the love that we felt through the club, right? And think about it, the word keep, just like Athrio was talking about, all the problems in the youth, whether it's social media, whether it's drugs, whether it's the peer pressure of really trying to fit in, right? We felt like a greater love through Keepers Club, right? It's not just brothers and sisters. It's not just friends, not just best friends, not relationships, but truly like our own brother and sister, right? And even in Tagalog, we call one another like kuyas and ates, right? So with that being said, would anyone like to share? Just like he's saying, there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot other keepers that are willing to share, you know, their Keepers Club journey, how they were invited, or essentially why you think we have this podcast, why you think Keepers Club is reaching out to young people all over the world, not only here in the U.S. And
I think Keeper Isaac wanted to say or answer the question.
oh, he did. Thank you, Keeper Ton. I didn't even hear him. So, is there a Keeper Isaac? Go, Keeper Isaac.
Well, he was messaging on the chat about the question and you just repeated it. I think he can answer the question now.
Oh wait. So
That's me.
go, Isaac.
I'm Isaiah.
Oh, Isaiah. Go, Keeper Isaiah.
So wait, what was the question again?
Oh, so how about for now? Can you share your Keepers Club journey and how are they helping the youth? Like the problems of the youth and really acknowledging it.
Well, how I got to the Keepers Club is one day we had got back from school and we didn't have really anything to do, and our uncle said to join the podcast, so we joined, and I saw how fun it was, and then after that I see that how much fun it is, and all the stuff that we're learning about, and how to so I could how you say it? I could tell people about my life. I could express my feelings.
Likewise, goalkeeper Isaiah, right? Or Isaac? Was that keeper Isaiah?
Isaiah.
Yeah, keeper Isaiah. Goalkeeper Isaiah from Puma and Rubik's Cube talent. But just know before I add on, thank you for sharing. It's not there's not as many keepers. There's not as many keepers sharing the video, but just you replying, you sharing, kind of made me smile a bit. Kind of really makes all of us happy, right? But more importantly, right? this podcast also, it's share our experiences. And if I have this opportunity to share mine a little, right? Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. That we've all had the pressure, the problems within, like, our relationships, whether it be in best friends, significant others, or even with God, right? Because that's a relationship. And we were talking about also, really finding that motivation to wake up, to you know uh to really keep striving for to really find your life purpose, to find your calling in life, like why we were born, right? And many of us, without even knowing it, without even identifying, acknowledging it, we don't even realize that we don't have a peace within ourselves. We don't really know what we're living for. And but it's really nice when you do find it, right? And the reason why I really I'm glad that we have this topic, like really identifying our problems, is I'm glad to say that, like, it's a blessing. You can say that, like, I know what I want to do, right? And I'm very humbled to give you some context also. Something that I really want to do, like, no matter what, you can say, is to be a traveling musician, right? And with that being said, some things that might hold me back is, my own uh my own struggle within me, right? Because the biggest enemy that within us is ourselves. So there's no if I want to accomplish, being a traveling musician, I will do whatever it takes, right? No matter what. But if there's anything that's hindering me, it's what? My laziness. It's me, complaining. It's me um wanting to go back to vices, or wanting to go back to the evils of the internet, or to really go back to the pressures of having a lot of pride from who? My best friends, from relationships, right? But I'm really glad, it's like a lot of us, for people really going to really striving for a road less traveled, you can say, a lot of times we forget about the things to acknowledge. We forget about the problem. It's like, oh, okay, this is a problem, and how can I solve it? Or, there's a lot of things that you really want to get to a specific point, but there's things that we procrastinate on, right? So even to the people tuning into this episode, last thing for me, it's like, why is he in this podcast? He should be transcribing, or he should be, gathering videos for the podcast, or he should be writing or recording, right? But I'm really glad we're really glad that we're able to share, and especially to really guide to the discussion where we're talking about Keepers Club International, right? So before we move on and also, like, close, before um it gets too late, right? Too late in the evening. Would anyone else like to share any final thought? Oh, Keeper Isaiah or Keeper Isaac? Go, Keeper
Yeah.
Isaac.
How I got here to the Keepers Club is, it's just like my brother said. Our uncle had picked us up, and we had pretty much like nothing to do. And then our uncle said to join the podcast, and then I saw how fun it is. And I think the reason my uncle wanted me to join was probably because I would probably get more spiritually mature and learn more about bad things to do and more good things to do. And that's how I got here to the Keepers Club.
Wow, it was very short and sweet, but it's very nice. Goalkeeper Isaiah, right?
I
Goalkeeper Isaac. Yeah, thank you both of you guys for sharing. Wow. So, we're happy for you to join, of course, and thank you for brightening all of our days as well. I really mean that. And how about any final thoughts, any final reflections from anyone in this podcast? and move on to our discussion. But any final thoughts, especially if you've been here, you want to share, you want to elaborate on anything? All right, so we'll move on. But um, if anything, thank you for joining. We hope you're learning, or we hope you're enjoying as well. Most importantly, but regardless, we hope to hear a lot more of you. Next week. All right, so let's move on, and let's move on to yeah. And so let's move on to our reflection. So how about this, especially if you haven't shared, right? So how was your Keepers Club podcast experience? What did you think about this episode? And why should keepers continue to tune in and be aware of the struggles of being a youth? Right. So this final opportunity. We'd love to hear, as many keepers, especially first timers, or especially those who haven't had the opportunity to speak. But anything, how the episode was, how it treated you, anything you've learned, anything, any questions, comments, concerns, violent reactions. How about from Keeper Sherlyn, Keeper Shenalyn, Keeper Hannah, Keeper Bernard, Keeper Eunice, Keeper Jessa, Keeper Josh, Keeper Sean, or even Francesca, right? Keeper Francesca, Keeper Natalie, Keeper Alizette. Yeah, right. You guys are still here. Is anyone like to share? Anyone, feel free to. We're always striving to improve each and every episode.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
go Keeper Francesca.
Okay, so since no one is really participating, I decided to participate. So this is like my first time in this podcast, and my experience is just that I just like how everyone decided to share their problems and like talked about it, and like I got to more ideas of how I could solve mine because I could relate to their personal problems. So yeah. What else was the questions? I don't really remember all of the questions that you asked.
No, you're good. Keeper Francesca. So it was really about like identifying the problems that we might ignore, and like and really like reflecting on how keepers around the world can really reflect and to really strive to do better rather than like procrastinating. Um,
Right.
would you like to answer? If if not,
What
it's
was the
okay. But,
No, wait, I didn't get your question. I thought you were saying it.
oh yeah. So go, Keeper Francesca. Would you like to share like the question or about like the podcast overall, like how it treated you?
Uh, I
Follow
don't
your
know.
heart, go Francesca.
Wait, you're asking me my experience on this podcast, like what I think about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought I answered it. I just said I like the podcast because it allowed me to get different perspective from everyone and how they managed to overcome it, and it motivated me to do better in the future.
Yeah, wow. Go Keeper Francesca. You're right. Actually, I've heard that part. And you know, if anything too, like we're very happy, we're very in awe because ideally we were hoping for more participation. But look, you a first timer is willing to share and has really, I'm glad that you've been blessed also by the podcast, you can say. So thank you so much for sharing. We invite you and for all of you guys to join more episodes. But feel free to not only reach out to your Keepers Club there in your respective states, but feel free if you enjoyed the podcast, let us know some topics you would like to talk about, or some icebreakers, or some things that if you ever need like like a one-on-one, not with me, or if you want me involved, or with your other, with the one that invited you, feel free to reach out, right? Feel free to ask, hey, can I join another podcast episode? Right? But we're very happy that you're able to join, to share, and to participate. So goalkeeper Francesca, and love from the Keepers Club podcast. Nice regards to you and your dog, by the way.
Can I ask something to Keeper Francesca real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, sorry.
what, what grade are you in actually?
I'm in 11th grade,
Oh wow.
junior. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually I would actually agree with what you said because like based off of what I said and of course what others said, it actually is, you can say enlightening, or you can see a different point of view, because the thing that I notice is that if you only have yourself to look or to talk like about your situation with, like, not like physically talk that you look like crazy, but like you're thinking about what's happening in your life, like you're contemplating. It's not impossible, but what I see is that it's also difficult to see another point of view of the problem or of the situation that we're going through, because as someone who's kind of like in the same grade of you, I'm like one grade higher, I'm a senior. um Being in high school for my fourth year and my last year, um thinking over the problems that I did had before, it's not very difficult, but it's very frustrating because I can't connect, or I can't have someone talk about my problem and be like, oh yeah, I actually do think that way, like that's actually how I feel about the situation. But since Keepers Club, um they actually did help me as well, also have a different point of view of the problems. And it's actually a great honor to be able to be part of this, even um just every once a week at least. We get point of views from other young people who are in the same grade, who are in the same age group as us. Because if you think about it, you know how they have all of these resources in school, like they have the counselor, they have the teacher, and they're like, if you have any problem, feel free to reach out to us. Do you have that in your school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also have that, but the thing is, it's different when you talk to an adult and if you talk to a young people like us, right? Because as an adult, they will try to solve the problem as an adult based on their experience. But this podcast, the Keepers Club podcast, is focused only entirely on young people like us. And if you really do have a problem, like for example of what we talked about earlier, if you like open up about it, you're the first one, and maybe who knows, maybe I can relate to it. Keeper Sean or Keeper Gabby can relate to it, or anybody in this podcast can relate to it. So it's good that you said that, because like I haven't been saying anything because I wanted everyone to talk, because I actually talked quite a bit earlier. But I just wanted to say that I totally agree with you that Keepers Club really does help in finding different point of views in a problem that we have, and have a solution to the problem. So thank you for sharing out your opinion.
Goalkeeper
Oh,
Tom.
I would like
yeah. Oh,
to elaborate, or Keeper Francesca, would you like to go first, or
elaborate on what part?
I thought you were gonna say something, but
Oh, sorry. I just forgot to go on mute.
oh,
I'm sorry.
okay,
You can have the stage.
okay, thank you. But I wasn't really here earlier because I was doing something. I kind of joined late, but I'm usually joining most of the podcasts. But what I can say that this podcast has really been helpful in my point of view personally, because looking back from the start of this year, from like early May, like I didn't like I had my own problems I faced, especially during school. But after I got to join more of this podcast and every week I joined, and I gained more knowledge or wisdom uh how to adapt or how to handle certain situations, especially as I know a lot of us are growing, some of us are still in school, some of us are already out of school. So it's like a good circle of knowledge for, I guess you could say, for the younger people, like having people that are older that have gone through the same experience, or just people that can give you advice on certain situations. It's really helpful. And this could be like that sort of group, because sometimes, what Keeper Anthony said, sometimes you don't really feel comfortable opening up to an adult or to your other friends. But hopefully this podcast is like, because you're kind of scared that people will judge you, like people that you know personally. But like here, it's like we're not really complete. I mean, basically we're complete strangers to each other, but like some of us know each other, some of us don't. But like, this is I guess you could say, a safe place where no one will really, judge you, because we're all here to give advice, which is basically in the name of our podcast, which is keeper, which is I am my brother's keeper, or I am my sister's keeper. So, we're here to support one another, both mentally and, but yeah, this podcast has been really good for my mental or emotional well-being. But yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Gab. Even though you weren't here, I'm sure you had other priorities, but we're very happy you're able to join and then even share, right? So go, Gab. We love the background also. They look very familiar. And especially goalkeeper Francesco, right? So regards to you and your dog. Oh, can
Keep cow.
really that's me.
Do you, would you like to read Natalie's response? Because I think, it can also speak out to other
Oh yeah. And of course, goalkeeper Natalie. We're glad that your day was great, and we're very happy that you liked the lesson and are hoping to join again. And that even though you can't really talk right now, since you're kind of new, but pretty much it was great. Wow. So we are very privileged and very happy that you're that you're able to, yeah, right. So it's we're very happy enough that you're able to join. So for those that are willing to share, to really chat, um of course we invite you, and we are really happy that we're able to just be an instrument, you can say, in sharing the love that we felt through Keepers Club podcast. So go, Natalie. And this is like your second, third, fourth time joining, right? So go keeper Natalie. If you're still there, keeper Francesca, can we also ask where like in the US are
Oh,
you? Like,
Las Vegas.
wow.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper Francesca from Las Vegas. Love also from, once again, Keepers Club here in Chicago. And yeah, so go keepers from Vegas. All right,
Thank
so
you.
I want to say real quick, real props to Francesca, because I talked with her a bit earlier in the week, and she called her, she acknowledges the fact that she's like, yeah, no, I'm really shy, I'm really quiet, I don't really like talk that much. But like, props to her for being open-minded enough and like brave enough to, talk and step up, because I usually don't like, I like try limit my response to like one response per podcast when I'm here, because I tend to ramble on a lot, and I just don't want it to like be about me all the time. Similar to what Anthony said, or like when he was talking, because he already went earlier, so he wanted to give chances to other people. But I just want to say, like, shout out to that, because I can really relate. When I was younger, I used to like not want to talk at all. I'd just hide away in a corner. But like, props to her for stepping out of her comfort zone for a little bit. And see you soon too, Francesca.
What do you mean, see you soon? Oh, thank you.
You'll see.
Sweet.
Oh, oh.
Wait, Francesca, are you Lance's brother? Hey,
Brother,
Lance's sister. Lance's sister. I mean,
No,
Gabriel.
Lance.
I'm his cousin. Yeah.
Oh, you're his
Wow.
cousin. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you were his sister.
Wait,
Okay.
so let's give it up for Lance's cousin. Woo!
Oh.
Yes, cousin.
Cousin
Not
from
brother,
Vegas.
cousin.
Woo!
Woo!
Yay, slay.
Alright. We also have we'd also like to say hi also from the keepers here in Chicago, you can say. And one of the behind the scenes keeper. So- Okay, I'll also share the screen, but if there's any keepers here in Chicago, you like to jump in.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, how's that? Get this.
Oh, sorry. Hey, guys.
Hi, Kuya Alfie.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining. Nice to see Francesca and Natalie. And this is a very good topic for what you guys are going through as young people. And it really is something that you don't really talk about, but something that you're going to face as you're growing up. You know, diagnosing life problems, and just always ask yourself, day to day, time to time, um, what do you wanna, like, if you want to succeed in life. So it gets tough, it gets really hard, but then you just kind of search deep within yourself at times, and then that's when you know what you need to work on, and just always follow your heart, and then if you are with God, you know, just always pray to him and get close to him. So whatever you're always having this problem, just, yeah, you also have your family, your friends, and the Keepers Club podcast is also here to help you out. And this is what we're all about as well. So thank you for joining Francesca from Las Vegas. Join us again along with Natalie. So yeah, all right. So I think that's it. That's for me, and Elizabeth as well. Thank you for joining. And yeah, that's just short. Trying to for me to say welcome everyone. Okay, see you guys.
Yeah,
Take
Alfie
care.
Gappy is also a visitor.
So thank you, Kuya Ping from here in Keepers Club Chicago at the moment. Right, so let's move on. And I know we couldn't have said it any better, right? But other than that, once again, or actually, shout outs, right? So shout outs to all the new faces, goalkeeper Francesca, right? And keeper Daniel, right? Anyone else are we missing? Daniel, Francesca, yeah, thank you for also coming through, Natalie, Alizette, right? So thank you for sharing, chatting in the chat box, and we hope you. Yes, Kuya.
Gabby is
also-
also here.
Huh?
Gabby.
Gabby?
Yeah.
This is Gabby. She's from Houston, Texas. She's my friend, and she was able to join us.
Oh, word. Yeah, goalkeeper Gabby. How did we not see it? Wait, but how are you there? How are you there, keeper Gabby? What's it called?
Hi, I'm good.
Wow, goalkeeper Gabby. Yeah, how are you there? Did you enjoy the podcast so far?
Yeah, it was good. I agree with what Anthony and the girl that went before her were saying about the podcast, how you can like relate to situations and stuff like that. Because sometimes it's hard, like you feel like people don't understand. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, goalkeeper Gabby. Sorry if we missed you. I get confused. There's also another keeper, Gabriel. But we're very happy for you to join. Thank you for sharing too. Nice hearing your voice. Love from the Keepers Club
Actually,
podcast.
Gabriella. to make it not confusing with keeper Gabriel, because keeper Gabriel thought I was talking about him, but keeper Gabby, her name is
Dude.
Hi Gabby, thank you for coming and joining.
I feel like for a better distinction for when they're both here, let's just because we also call Gabriel Gab, so I think we should just make the distinction there. Gabby as in Anthony's friend, and
I
Gab
just need
as in
to. I need to remember that in my brain for next time.
Oh yeah, but regardless, goalkeeper Gabs and especially keeper Gabby. So go keeper Gabby, and we hope you are enjoying the episode so far. It's coming to a close, and you know, love from the Keepers Club podcast. Go keeper Gabby. Woo! Nice goal. Alrighty, and also shout out once again to all the keepers that have joined. Right, so go keepers Anthony, uh Gabrielle, Jane, Jessa, Josh, Kaden, Kate, Jello, Isaac, Jake, Shenlin, Sean, Vince, Mark, Mac, and Val, right, and Kuya Ping, right? So, and also, of course, shout out to our founding president, right? Because without him, this wouldn't be possible, right? This wouldn't we owe it all to him, right? And we're it's such a privilege. We're just being used as instruments, and really giving back to the love that we felt through Keepers Club. And thank you as well to all the Keepers Club all over the world. And so we hope to see you. Once again, we hope you enjoyed, and we hope to see you soon. So feel free to check out the audio that we'll upload on Keepers Club podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and also the full video on Keepers Club podcast on YouTube. And so feel free to look us up. You'll see all of your beautiful faces. But speaking of beautiful faces, lastly, I was wondering if we can all take a picture. So we'll add you to all of our group photos for our future episodes. And we love also to have like a memory, right, of a successful episode. So we hope you enjoy, and we hope to see you next week. Once again, we host these every Tuesday, 6 p.m. CST, but 4 p.m. California time. And with that being said, let's all take a picture. All right. So hi, also, how you there? Keeper Sherlin, keeper Hannah, keeper Jello. All right, let's take a picture. So please open your camera, and let's do a normal one. Go also keep.
Whoa, nice seeing everybody's face.
Sure, you look familiar, but go Vegas. All right, so normal one. Go keeper Daniel. Woo. Keeper Kaden, how are you, Kaden? And all right, 3, 2, 1. Just keep smiling. A little picture. All right. Thank you for taking a picture. Also, one more. It's like keeper. It's like a K. So do like this. It's like a keeper sign, right? So, ready? 3, 2, 1.